This video is brought to you today by Ghostags. This is my own company that I started because I wanted a glow-in-the-dark AirTag case. These things are awesome. You can stick them on your backpack, on your dog's collar, and you will be able to find it at night. We've got two colors, blue and green. They've got great reviews. Go check them out. Links to them down below. Now on to the video. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Slim and you're watching Slimathy TV. In this video, we're going to be going over iOS 17 in its entirety. This is the full iOS 17 review. Should you update to iOS 17 now that it is finally live? Because yes, Apple just released iOS 17 to the public so you guys can go and enjoy. We're also going to talk about the brand new features, every single one that you're going to want to try on day one, as well as battery health, battery life, and performance. So I've been beta testing iOS 17 for months now, ever since the first one came out. Now that Apple has finally released it to the masses, well, you're watching the video and you want to know what's new. So let's talk about that. The first thing that you are going to notice when you get iOS 17 is that autocorrect is so much better. It has a new algorithm behind it, completely revamped. This doesn't seem like a big feature, like other YouTubers aren't going to talk about it, but trust me, when you're texting people and you're trying to say a certain word and it changes it to ducking, you know how infuriating that can be? Well, it doesn't do that anymore. In fact, if you put ducking, it might try to change it to something else because it knows what you're trying to say. So definitely try out the new autocorrect once you're done with this video, but I've got about 25 other awesome new features, so let's get through those right now. The next one up is live voicemail. If someone calls you and you're not sure who it is, just send it straight to voicemail and that person will be instructed to start leaving a voicemail. However, you can actually still pick up the call while they're leaving the voicemail. You know how there's so many robocalls these days, but sometimes you're kind of waiting for a doctor's call or you're trying to get a new job and you're waiting for a call back and you're not sure what their number is going to be. Well, this is a great way to screen your calls because you will see their voicemail, exactly what they're saying, come up live as text on your phone. It is so cool. This way you will never accidentally pick up for a scam call and you will be able to know if it's your doctor. A person will start leaving their message. It'll say, hey, this is so-and-so from the doctor's office. You just hit answer and you can answer the call as they're leaving the voicemail and you won't miss that call. It is awesome. Seriously, an underrated feature of iOS 17. Next up, this one is in settings and it's called standby mode. This is something that I think Apple's going to ship by default. If you scroll down, you'll see standby right here. I have this turned off because I thought it was a little bit annoying and it was turning on at weird times. Almost every other YouTuber loves this, so maybe you will too. If you use your phone as an alarm clock, you'll definitely love this for sure. But I personally don't. I have an old-fashioned alarm clock. But if you turn this on and you put your phone sideways, stick it on a MagSafe charger at night, it will automatically transform the screen into a clock, and it can even have other information on it as well. So this is something that a lot of people are going to enjoy. Me personally, I just don't like it, so I keep it off. But I'm leaving it on here in the top 5 because it is definitely something you're going to want to try. Next up is contact posters. Obviously, I'm not going to go through my contacts and show you guys all that, but I'll overlay on the screen what that looks like. You can literally set what you want your contact poster to look like when you call someone else if they don't have you in their contacts. This is going to be great because it's tedious to go through your contacts and update everyone's picture and name and everything. Now they can just do that on their own and share it with you. So all of your contacts should start filling in as people do that. And by the way, they just look really good too. Now, another little quality of life improvement. You know when you're signing into an application and it sends you a text verification code? This can now automatically delete all those messages for you so you don't have to look at them. As soon as it autofills it, Messages app will just delete it and you don't have to look at it. You don't have to go in and do anything. It just autofills and deletes the message so you don't have to do that. Now, another brand new feature is in iMessage. You can actually now swipe to the right on a message to reply. This makes replying so much easier. You don't have to tap and hold and hit reply. You just swipe on it and reply right there, and it makes it into its own little thread. Another thing that's new is actually for Siri. And I apologize if that just set off your phones because now you do not have to say, hey, in front of the word. You can now just say the word, S-I-R-I. You just say that and Siri can pop up for you. So you don't have to say, hey, in front of it anymore. This is a new feature. Personally, I keep that turned off because it's kind of creepy. Now, if you are someone that uses iCloud Keychain in passwords here, you can now share passwords with family members and friends, whoever you want. So you can now do shared passwords. I personally don't use iCloud Keychain. I use another service, but if you do use it, you can now share your passwords, which is nice to see. So you don't have to be copy and pasting it through iMessage anymore. Now, something that's kind of a safety feature, but also just good to have. I've been using it with my fiance, but I'm just going to pull up one of my own chats here with myself. If you go and click on this new plus, first of all, this platter is brand new. You will see that you can scroll through all your different apps. You can rearrange them by dragging, dropping, all that stuff. But there's a new one in here. Scroll down, you'll see it. It's called check-in. So if I send a check-in, obviously it's not available to myself, but if I sent this to whomever, it's going to send them a check-in alert. So that means if I am going somewhere and I do not get there by the predicted time, it can let the other person know. It can even send them my last coordinates and battery health, which is really cool. So this is a huge safety feature that I think is going to go under the radar. A lot of people aren't going to know it right away. I can see this being a huge feature for people who have kids and for some reason their kid's not on Find My Friends or whatever. They don't want to share their location all the time. This is just a nice thing to send someone a check-in, say, hey, if something happens, this will help us figure that out. For me personally, I think Find My Friends is also a really good idea. This is just icing on the cake in case you didn't want to use that. Check-in feature is awesome. Definitely try that out. Next up, this is also one that I haven't heard any other YouTuber talking about, and that's shared AirTags. Yes, you can finally share an AirTag. So let's say you and your family are all going on a vacation and you're smart and you listen to Slim and you put an AirTag in every single one of your bags. Carry-on bags, check bags, every single one of them has an AirTag. Your backpack, your purse, everything. Well, when you're on that plane and you're traveling with someone else, they might actually get an alert that someone's following them because it's an unknown AirTag, and that can be annoying. So to solve this, all you have to do is share your AirTag with them and everyone can track everyone else's bag. If you're all going on the same flight and everything, that might actually be useful. I can tell you for 100% fact, American Airlines lost one of my family members' luggage and it was so helpful to have an AirTag in that bag. Unfortunately, it was before iOS 17, so there was no sharing, but we were able to track it, cut through that American Airlines BS where they say, hey, the bag's at this spot, but you can clearly track it with your AirTag at another spot, so you can help them recover your bag quicker. Anyways, that's just a pro tip. Share your AirTags, especially another cool feature with sharing AirTags. If you have a dog, let's say you and your wife have a dog and you have an AirTag on that dog's collar, perhaps you're using one of our Ghostags or another AirTag case, you want to share that AirTag with your wife because you both want to be able to track the dog if it were to get loose. This is another great reason to use shared AirTags. All right, so this one's pretty cool. You can now transcribe audio messages in iMessage. Hello, this is a test. So if I stop this, send it, you will see right here, you can see exactly what I said. I said in iMessage, hello, this is a test, boom. So you don't actually have to listen to anyone's voice anymore. You can just send it and they can read it, almost like a text. It's almost as if they click this and it was just sending it that way. But at least this gives the person the opportunity to listen to your voice if they really wanted to, or maybe they need to be hands-free for whatever reason. It's nice to have the audio as an option, but also having the option to read the text is awesome. And I've noticed that transcription is super accurate and super reliable, so I'm going to definitely be using that more. Next up is NameDrop. This one is the YouTuber's favorite. Every YouTuber loves showing this off, putting two phones together and sharing their contact information. Honestly, this is not going to be used that much. It's going to be cool at first, but how often are you sharing your contact information with random people? Probably not that often. So yes, it's available. Yes, it is pretty cool. No, it's not that useful because in day-to-day life, you're not going to use it that much. But in the cases that you do use it, it is going to be a nifty feature, assuming both people are on iPhone, assuming both people have iOS 17. All right, so this next one, I'm going to put overlays on the screen. FaceTime now has these cool reactions. So for example, if you are in a FaceTime call, for example, me and my fiance, we're always on FaceTime calls. If I go ahead and give the thumbs up like this, it'll do a certain reaction. If you do peace signs, one peace sign, two peace signs, it'll do different reactions to the screen, and some of them are pretty cool. So if you're watching this, don't tell your parents about this, and the next time you FaceTime them, go ahead and do like a 2 thumbs up or 1 thumbs up and freak them out because they will not know what the heck's going on when confetti starts falling from the sky or fireworks in the background. It is a cool feature for sure though. Next thing is in Safari. So the first time you open this up, if you use private browsing like I do so that cookies are never saved, it's harder for websites to track you. If you use private browsing, it's going to automatically have password protection enabled. If you want to turn that off, you just go into settings, scroll down to Safari and turn off require Face ID to unlock private browsing. That is, if you want, I keep it off because no one gets into my phone that is not me, and my phone's locked most of the time anyway. But if you want, you can lock your private browsing if you don't want your kids or someone else seeing what you're searching. I found it annoying to have to keep scanning to unlock my face to use my web browser because, like I said, I only use private browsing just for day-to-day tasks. But if you have some naughty stuff or something you don't want someone seeing, you can now lock that down. All right, so this next one is awesome. It is offline maps. So when I am traveling, let's say to the Bahamas, I like to know that I have these maps saved just in case the network goes down, because if you've ever been to the Bahamas, you know the network is not reliable. So you can now actually download and save offline maps right here in your phone. So if the network is down, you can still get directions. This is a clutch feature. You can download as many as you want. Google Maps has had this forever, but it's actually easier and better, in my opinion, with Apple Maps. So definitely check that out. So I'm trying to keep everything out of frame that I don't want to show, but there you can see Bahamas is only taking up about 97 megs. So there you go. All right, so this feature is really cool. You can now do visual lookup for photos of food. And this is surprisingly accurate here about homemade ketchup. That's literally a homemade or house style ketchup at a local burger place. Super tasty, but this is shockingly accurate with how well it can pick up food. So definitely try that out if you have visual lookup enabled. I literally just enabled it like a month ago to test this out, and I have been really enjoying it. I looked into the security and privacy of it. It looks relatively private, so it's not like Apple's going to be able to see what this is to be able to figure out this. It uses a few algorithms and it's very complicated, but overall, I've got it turned on for now and it seems really cool. Now, in that same vein, you can actually now do visual lookup in video. So all you have to do is pause on a frame and you can use visual lookup right there. So you don't have to take a screenshot or something silly like that. You can do it right from there. Another quality of life improvement, if you get verification notifications through email, so you're trying to log in somewhere, it says, hey, we sent you a verification code to your mail app. You don't even have to open mail anymore. iOS can automatically fill in that verification code from your mail app, just like it does for text, where you just click on it and it just automatically fills it. So this is going to be a huge time saver for a lot of people. Very happy that Apple did that. All right, now we've got to talk about the weather app. This has been completely overhauled again, and it just looks so much better and it's so much easier to use. The only thing I wish is that it was a little more accurate, but it is what it is. Let's talk about the new improvements. So for example, here you can see everything's laid out very well, just like you would expect. This has been changed around just a little bit from iOS 16. And if we scroll down and keep scrolling, you can see all the new features. The main one here is the moon. So there is a brand new fully interactive moon feature. So you can see the moon's schedule, rise, illumination percentage, when it's going to set, the calendar for full moons. I mean, this is a lot of information. And the best part, you can literally scroll through here to see what the moon looked like on a certain day at a certain time. Very interesting and very cool to see. On top of this, there's a little Easter egg that Apple hid in here. When it's nighttime and the moon's out, you can actually see right here in the background what the current moon phase is. So the moon that it shows on this page is currently what the moon looks like in real life. So just a little Easter egg that Apple decided to hide in there. And it's just that Apple polish that makes everything a little bit more enjoyable. So if you use the weather app, you're gonna love this. Next up, let's talk about reminders. If you use reminders for grocery lists, it can now automatically sort all your stuff. So for example, it can sort certain things like breads all together, veggies all together, meat together, and you don't have to organize it by hand anymore. It'll automatically do it and it will kind of learn over time. It's a very nice feature if you do use that for your grocery list. Another cool thing is interactive widgets. So for example, if you have a reminders widget on your home screen, you can now check things off straight from there. All right, so if you guys are on iOS 16 and you try to use the camera app to scan a QR code, you know how annoying it is to try to click on the link as it moves around. Apple has changed that. If you now go ahead and scan a QR code, it's going to have the link just at the bottom here. You can tap it anytime and it will open right up in Safari. It is so much easier now. All right, we are almost through these features. Then we're going to talk about the compatible devices, battery health, battery life, performance, all that. So just stick with me here because this might be the best feature of iOS 17, or at least one of the top 5. I'm saving some of the best for the end. Now this one's interesting. You can make haptic touch a little bit faster. And this was one of my biggest quality of life improvements. So if you go into settings, scroll down to accessibility and then click on touch and then haptic touch right here, you can now choose this to be fast. And this fast is legitimately much better than default. So I tell pretty much everyone that they should try out fast. And I think 99.999% of people are going to enjoy fast more than they will before because it just feels better. It just feels more natural. So go do this. It's going to make your iPhone experience just a little bit better. And I switched it to fast and I never looked back. Now, another quality of life improvement here, I don't know if I can do this on camera, but if I go ahead and I download this here, I don't know how big this file is, 7 gigs. So this should work. Yep, there we go. I can see how many minutes it's going to take to install this application now. So if you're on a really slow network or you got a big file like this one, you can see how long it's going to take. This is a 7.9, almost 8 gigabyte file. So it's telling me it'll be done in about 1.5 minutes. So that's pretty good. But I'm going to go ahead and stop that because I don't like CSR racing anymore, really. Another thing that's kind of become a meme is you can now set multiple timers at once. Yes, that's a thing. Apple never allowed that before. If you're on iOS 16, go try to set multiple timers. It doesn't work, but now you can. Now let's talk about who can actually get this update. So if we hop into settings, general, software update, and you're not seeing it here for some reason, iOS 17 is compatible with the iPhone XR and XS and later. So if you have an iPhone 10, iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus, or any iPhone below that, you're not going to get iOS 17, unfortunately. So your options are buy a new phone or just deal with it. That means the iPhone SE 2nd gen, iPhone XR, XS, 11 Pro, and all the 11 models, 12 Pro, 12 Pro Max, all of the 12 series, all of the 13 series, of course, all of the iPhone 14 series, and the iPhone 15 series, of course, can all get this update. Now, this update works best when everyone has it because a lot of these features, both people need to have it. For example, sharing AirTags or NameDrop, stuff like that. Everyone needs to get this update. But let's talk about stability, because should you update on day one? Now, a lot of people are skeptical of updates that are brand new like this. So this update just came out and you're probably like, well, should I do it? Should I wait a week? The answer is you should probably just update now. Reason being, I've been beta testing this since like June and I have had almost no issues with it, especially in the last month. There's literally only one bug that Apple still hasn't fixed, and it's tiny. Okay, you ready for the bug? It's when you're swiping between pages like this and then you pull down like that. It stutters a tiny bit. That is the bug. That is the only bug that I have right now. But by the way, that only is an issue if you're swiping between pages and then pull down immediately. If you just sit like this and then pull down, there is no stutter. Now you can't even see the stutter because my camera is not shooting in 120 frames per second. So most people won't notice this, but that is the only bug that I have right now. So if that's the only bug, this is going to be just fine on almost everyone's phone. It is a very solid update. Now let's talk about performance. If you're comparing performance from iOS 16 to 17, 17 seems to be a little bit better performing. It will definitely be at least equal to 16 for most people, but I have noticed a little bit better performance. So they've optimized a lot of the code from 16, I think. Now I haven't gone through the code, but it feels a little bit faster. So I think performance is a win. Now the last thing is battery. So if I go into settings here and I scroll down to battery and I click on battery health, you can see I'm at 88%. Don't let that fool you. That is literally par for the course for iPhone 14 Pros here. Almost every other YouTuber is at about that. So let's talk about the actual battery life here, not the health. So you can see some days were pretty bad, but for the most part, the days have been good. Now these days you can see stuff was happening in the background, like VPN activity. I was testing some stuff, but for the most part, battery life has been just fine and I have no complaints. If you're currently on 16.6.1, jumping to iOS 17, you're probably not going to notice much, if any, difference at all. All right, but before you update to iOS 17, because it seems really cool, right? Let's talk about what you got to do before you do the update, just to make sure everything goes smoothly, because sometimes people can have issues. I've seen it happen before. It's very rare, but you could run into an issue when updating. First thing to do, make sure you have a backup. So if you have iCloud backup turned on, you just go into settings, click on your name at the top, go ahead, go into your iCloud backup settings, make sure that's on. Make sure you have a recent backup. If you don't use that, plug it into a computer, do an iTunes backup. You know how to do that. All right, step 2. After you do the backup, you want to update all your apps. Make sure they're all up to date. Then once everything's up to date, power off your phone if you haven't done it in a while. If it's been more than a week, just power it off. So hold the volume up and the power button together until you see slide the power off, slide it, power it off. Wait 5 minutes. After those 5 minutes, hold the power button, boot your phone back up. Then once you're back in the phone like this, go ahead, check some emails, reply to texts, and wait about 5 to 10 more minutes to let the phone kind of cache everything in the background. Once you do that, head into settings, scroll down to general, software updates, and go ahead and start the update there. This update process could take some time, so just be patient, let it do its thing, and eventually your phone will start rebooting. It will then install the update and you will be greeted with the usual startup screen for the iPhone. Go ahead, log in, unlock your phone, and once you're on this page, kind of looking like this with iOS 17, then let your phone sit. You can use it for, the first at least 20 to 30 minutes. Then you want to, this is crucial, you want to reboot your phone after the update, because after any iOS update, you want to reboot your phone 30 minutes after the update. Now I'm just saying 30 minutes because that's a number that gives the phone enough time to cache some stuff in the background. But realistically, you want to reboot your phone before any issues can occur. Weird things can happen after updates. I don't know if you've ever noticed this. Sometimes Bluetooth won't work, Wi-Fi won't work. So after the phone's back up, go ahead and do the exact same thing. Hold volume up and power, slide to power off, turn it off, wait 5 minutes, boot it back up, and this time you're done. That's it. Once it comes back up, you're good to go. You're all updated. You rebooted your phone after the update, so everything should be good. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't know. After you do an update like this, if you don't normally plug your phone in at night, which I personally do, I think everyone probably should just for convenience sake, but you want to plug in your phone overnight or put it on a MagSafe charger because it's going to recache a ton of files, all your iCloud photos, all your apps. It's going to do a backup overnight with this new iOS 17, and you want it to do it and get it over with. So you want it to do it at night when you're not using your phone. So plug in your phone at night, let it do its caching in the background. And for the first couple days, you want to do this. You definitely want to do it 3 to 7 days every night for at least 3 to 7 days. Just plug in your phone at night and let it do its thing. Another common complaint is people say, my phone gets so hot after the update. It's been a week. I updated, my phone's still hot. That's because your phone is likely still caching things in the background. This can take time depending on how much garbage you have on your phone. So in that case, just again, every night, plug it in and it's going to cache all those files and eventually it'll cool off. My phone is super cold to the touch. It's done because of course, you know, I've had this on my phone for a while because I've been beta testing it. This is crucial for just about everyone to understand. Your battery life is going to be kind of bad for the first week until everything's cached in the background. So that has been the comprehensive video, guys. Oh my gosh, I've been filming for a long time. I'm gonna hop off here, but you guys need to share this video with family and friends. Anyone who needs this information, share it with them because I think this is probably one of the best iOS 17 videos on YouTube. I say that sincerely because we've gone through just about everything you could possibly need to know about it in this one video. You don't have to hop everywhere. It's right here. So if you liked it, hit it with a big thumbs up and subscribe, share it with your friends and family, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Enjoy iOS 17.